It's a scenario many of us have faced. Your ex, the one who once walked away, suddenly reappears in your life. They've come back with apologies, promises, and maybe even a plea for another chance. It's a rush of emotions, nostalgia, hope, confusion, and even excitement. You remember the good times, the love you shared, and it feels almost impossible to ignore the pull. But before you jump back into the relationship, you need to pause, take a deep breath, and be cautious. Why? Because love is complex, and second chances aren't always as perfect as they seem. When your ex comes back, you may feel like you're finally getting something you lost. The person who once seemed so important in your life is now standing in front of you, eager to reconnect. They might tell you how much they've changed, how they've missed you, or how they've learned from past mistakes. It's easy to believe that things will be different this time, that this is a fresh start. But you need to remember that people don't always change as much as they say they have. Their old habits, fears, and patterns can creep back in, no matter how convincing their words are. Before you make any decisions, ask yourself, why did they leave in the first place? There's usually a reason why relationships end, and those reasons shouldn't be overlooked just because they've come back. Maybe there were trust issues, lack of communication, or different goals that caused the breakup in the first place. Reconnecting can bring all those unresolved issues to the surface, and instead of moving forward, you may find yourself stuck in the same unhealthy cycles that led to the breakup initially. It's also important to consider their motivations for returning. Sometimes people come back because they're lonely, bored, or in a place of emotional vulnerability. They might not be seeking true reconciliation. Rather, they could just be looking for comfort, familiarity, or validation. It's tempting to think they've come back with genuine intentions, but it's crucial to ask yourself, are they returning because they truly want to be with me, or because they need someone to fill a temporary gap in their life? This is not to say that every return is selfish, but it's worth being cautious about jumping into something without understanding their true motivations. Another thing to remember is that you've changed since the breakup. No matter how much you may have longed for your ex's return, time apart has likely shaped you into a different person. You've learned, grown, and perhaps moved on in ways that might not align with the person they left behind. People evolve, but so do our needs, desires, and expectations. You may find that what you wanted in the relationship before isn't what you want now. Even if you still have love for them, it's important to ask yourself, am I still the same person I was when we were together, or have I grown in new directions that they can't support? Sometimes, the love you feel is rooted in the past, and returning to an old relationship can hold you back from the future you've worked so hard to build. Emotions play a huge role when someone you care about comes back into your life. It's easy to be swept up in the rush of excitement and desire for reconciliation. But the emotional high can cloud your judgment. And in those moments, it's important to check in with yourself and assess the situation objectively. The ultimate question is whether you're making this decision based on genuine love and growth, or if you're simply reacting to nostalgia and the fear of moving on. Reopening old wounds can be painful, and you might find yourself back in the same emotional space you were in when the relationship ended. Lastly, trust your instincts. No one knows your relationship history like you do. If something feels off, or if you're hesitant to let them back into your life, it's okay to take a step back. You don't owe anyone your forgiveness or affection just because they want a second chance. Healing takes time, and sometimes it's best to preserve that healing process by not rushing back into old dynamics that no longer serve you. Love should bring you peace and joy, not uncertainty and pain. Remember, your worth is not tied to someone else's return. It's natural to have feelings of longing or hope, but don't let those emotions override your self-respect. It's important to prioritize your happiness and well-being over the possibility of rekindling something that might not work out. Sometimes, letting go and moving on is the bravest and healthiest choice you can make. So, if your ex has come back, take a moment to reflect on what you truly need and want. It may not be as simple as falling back into the same patterns. Instead, it may be the perfect opportunity to look ahead and make the decisions that are right for you, not just for them. At the end of the day, love should make you feel stronger, not weaker. If their return threatens your peace or raises doubts in your heart, it might be time to let go again. Your future is in your hands, and it's up to you to protect it.